Hi, everyone. I am thrilled to be here. I'm very pleased to have been listening as well because, it's such a funny universe, empowerment. I feel like it's such a big word, and there's so many things to do with it. There's like a mindset perspective, and then there's, how you view things, and then there's really what actions you can take that maybe empower you. And I wanted to talk about the last one because, in my opinion and in my experience, I do think that women need their own money. Now, I am not a finance expert. I am not a mathematician. I almost didn't graduate from high school because I couldn't pass my math class. I have a degree in drama. I was a singer. Like, all my education is from a completely creative narrative. And I was terrified of math. And I was sort of told I couldn't do it because I'm creative, because I'm a girl, blah, 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 blah. Like, all of the reasons, all of the things that make me me were all of the reasons that I was told that I was bad at math. So I assumed I'm bad at math. And that translates to I'm bad at numbers. I'm bad at negotiating. And that last one comes up a lot. And I kind of used, once I got out of school, it occurred to me that you're negotiating all the time. Besides negotiating life, you're literally negotiating financial decisions, and you're having conversations around your finances all the time. Whether that be you're negotiating your salary, whether that be you're negotiating your rate if you're an entrepreneur or if you're a consultant. I have spent, and this has been wonderful, but it was very hard in the beginning. I have spent the majority of my career being forced to negotiate my money. And I think that it's tricky with women and society because whether that's part of our makeup or part of what we're told, we're more feeling based. I mean, I loved that today the talks were so much about feelings and about experiences that evoked emotions because, we tend to be more feeling based. Like, we make decisions based on our feelings, not necessarily based on the data at hand. I mean, I would be the most confident person on the planet, or at least pretty confident, if I had the data. But I felt not confident for the majority of my childhood and a large portion of my adulthood. But what I want to do is add to that some data because, okay, John F. Kennedy said, let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. And what I take from that is that, when women are negotiating their worth, they're thinking that the money attached to them is their worth. And it is to a certain degree, but to a certain degree, it's not just your worth of what you give. We're used to giving. We're used to taking care of everybody or supporting somebody. I mean, this is very inherent societally and, and culturally. It kind of is. And no matter where you go in the world, no matter how many people you know who speak how many different languages from how many different countries, it somehow is the same message. We are negotiating our income. And that income supports us, and it allows us to be able to make decisions around how our life is. It allows us to be able to make decisions around what we're contributing, but it also allows us to be able to make decisions around our lives and what we want and what we enjoy, and we deserve that. And so what I want to do is kind of remove the feeling out of the money and remove the feeling out of the negotiation, because I find that, especially like as an entrepreneur, what you're offering the world is an experience, and especially when it's an experience that's about a feeling, it feels kind of hard to put a number on that and then to stand by that number because you just want to give it away. I mean, I totally get that, but you have to. So I, as I said, was terrible at math, right? I'm neurodiverse, dyslexic, couldn't really get it. Like I didn't get any of it, but I spent a lot of time being forced to because, I was an actress. They had a rate. If that rate wasn't good, I needed to figure it out. I was a producer and primarily worked, freelance or permalance, and I had to give them how much I made. And then as I got better, I had to renegotiate how much I made. I moved into finance and I had to negotiate my salary. And then, and I love this, they had a discretionary bonus. I had to negotiate my bonus. I have negotiated for 25 years now. Now, there's no reason on this earth that I should be good at this from my education. And I say this because I want to remove the fear factor around it. I want to remove I'm just bad at this, or it makes me feel scared, or it makes me feel uncomfortable. So I have a few very simple, very basic kind of tips, I guess, or ways that I go in to a negotiation situation and I negotiate for what I want. So I would like to share those with you. And I hope that you find them valuable, or you see the link between that and also life. So the first one is the market. In order to go into a job or go get a consulting gig or, negotiate a salary, you need to know the market. You need to know what other people are making around it. If you want to make a move if you're a mom, a stay-at-home mom, and you're wanting to get back in the workforce, you need to know the market. You need to know what you're getting into because you need to, live, right? So you need to do some research before you go into any meetings about money. You need to do some research and see what the market is. And you want to get a range of what that market is, the low and the high, and really understand from multiple resources. Like go onto the Google and just Google the name of of the role that you're looking for and start poking around, and go to LinkedIn and go to salary.com and go to ChatGPT, and you will find more information and a range, and you'll start to get kind of a pattern going of the range. You're not necessarily defining what you do and what your value is. This is just information. This is just simple data, right? So you want to know what the market is. After that, the assumption is that you have the meeting. You've been either considered for the job, you've gotten the job, and now you're talking money. You have the job and you're talking about next year's money. That's the assumption. I've worked for several very, very powerful and successful people, and a lot of them are men, and a lot of them have no issue talking about money, like none. They have no emotion attached to it. They have nothing attached to it that evokes any kind of emotion other than that they like it. And I like money too. And almost all of them that I have met play poker, which I highly recommend. It's a fun game, just as an exercise. Knowing poker and knowing how to bluff and knowing when somebody else is bluffing, but also knowing how to raise is a very powerful tool. Now, I'm not suggesting you need to go play poker. What I'm getting at is that they're coming in with an experience of how they talk about their money, talk about the money on the table. I say this because the next piece is you want to, when you go into a negotiation, let the other person start. Don't come in asking for what you want. Know what you want. You need to know what you want, but you don't come in and start the conversation. You don't say, I want $100. You go in and let them start. Because if they were planning to say that they want to give you $200, you've just outbid yourself. You've just gotten a salary decrease. And now you have to make a decision of whether that job is even worth that money, or you have to take it because you are desperate. They don't need to know that. They don't need to know any of your circumstances. So you have to know what you have to let them start. Once you do that, you have to decide, I guess this is before, what you want. Now you know the range of what the market asks. You know your qualifications, or you know what you do. You know how much it costs to do the service or product or whatever that you're offering. And now you have to make a decision, and it's a decision not around feelings. It is a decision around facts. The mindset of this is definitely around feelings. You have to have the right mindset. But the reality is that you need the facts. And the facts are, if you've never done something and you're asking for the top salary, that's not going to happen more than likely, right? If you have no experience on something and there's a range for what you do and the top range is what you want, well, that's lovely. I would like to not have to dye my hair anymore. It doesn't usually work that way. So you have to say, all right, my range is within this. Maybe it's within the lower, maybe it's the medium, maybe it is the high. Maybe you are overqualified, but this is your way into that role. You have to know what you want. And then what I want you to do in your mind is figure out what 10% and 20% more of that is. And that is the number that I want you to have in your mind when you go in and you let them start. Because inevitably, they're going to up high.
That's okay.
Inevitably, they're going to want to negotiate down. And I'll say this. When they're negotiating, when you walk into a negotiation, they're negotiating, they're looking to get the best deal. You're looking to get the best deal. Now, for them, the best deal is the lowest deal, and for you, the best deal is the highest deal. And somewhere in the middle is where you want to live, Now, I'm going to use a buzzword that I find very helpful whenever I'm trying to speak in these kinds of environments, and the word is reasonable. I find that my request for $150 an hour is reasonable because I bring X, Y, and Z to this table. I find that I am not being unreasonable by asking for that. I find, and you don't need to say this part out loud, that what they're offering is unreasonable. So what is reasonable to me? And the word reasonable sets the playing field pretty simple. It keeps it at bay.